right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Skip Happens. Skip Clark, your podcast host. Normally, I'm joined by Deb Lamphere, the president and founder of the Country Music Fan Club. But Deb Lamphere tonight with her club, she's working Nashville, and she's working Nashville because of our connection with the CMA Awards. So that's where Deb is tonight. And by the way, with the official CMFC, the official Country Music Fan Club, I highly recommend that you go to their Facebook page, you look them up. If you like these opportunities to go to Nashville and maybe be at the CMAs, you look up the Country Music Fan Club and, of course, Miss Deb Lamphere. You can become like seat fillers, and that's really cool. But right now, let's get right to our guest. And we were just talking without the mics on that it's probably been hard to believe, but 4, 5, maybe 6 years since we've actually seen each other. And if you're into the music scene here in the Northeast, in the Syracuse area, you may have seen him. He's been here quite often in the past. Now everything's kind of put on hold, but Mr. Billy Lord is with us. Billy, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Skip. I miss you guys up there.
Oh, well, we miss you too. And I guess this is the next best thing is utilizing our technology and being able to at least we see each other face to face and we're both live. So that's the good thing. It's just you can't be here in person. So
it's a Zoom meeting world, right?
Yeah, it is. You know, Zoom. This is when I wish I had stock in Zoom. That wouldn't that be? Can you just imagine that?
You and me both.
I love it. So how you been, buddy? Everything good?
Everything is good. You know, people have been asking a lot because it has been a few years, and I've got a lot of unreleased music, and I've been writing a ton and getting ready to record here with Mitch Stain from Sputnik Studios in Nashville, and been working with Renee Truet sitting to my right here, and on some amazing arrangements for new music. So, it took a minute. A lot has happened. A lot has transpired. Nashville is no joke, and it's a tough road. But I've been going steady the whole time, even though I've been pretty silent on social media. Just really keeping to myself. Been through some business dealings that didn't work out so well, and now I'm out of those and kind of on my own again. And I found that when I started this whole thing, I was all by myself, and that's when things really started taking off for me. So it's been quiet, but I've been quietly building in the background, and I can honestly tell you that I think that I'm in the best position that I've been in personally in a long time. So I'm ready to do some music again.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I've always been a fan of what you have done. And from the first time we met, I said, man, this guy's really cool. I love the music and all that. But that goes back. Did you have a Harley? Was it a Harley that you were?
Yes, sir. I still have that Harley.
Really?
I was fortunate enough to have Harley Davidson sponsor me. As you know, when I met you, it was not long after I started music, which I started very late in life. As you know, I started at a bad time when I had lost everything. I was in New York City, and
That's right.
really, all I had was a guitar, so I just taught myself to play, and that was my story. But now it's become more about the music and how it kind of took off. And I feel like in a lot of ways I've learned so much about being a writer, being a singer, being a performer that I didn't know back then. But now I have a little bit of business experience and acumen under my belt. And I've just learned a lot of hard lessons. So, like I said, I'm just in a much better place now.
Yeah. And well, all that experience, if you didn't have everything, well, let me put it this way. If those things didn't happen, maybe you wouldn't be where you are now. You've learned from all those mistakes or some of those dealings that may have gone bad. You've learned from that. And now you're in a good position in your life, and you're rolling with your music. And
it's something too, you really, Skip, about just surviving it, just maintaining, staying in it, and not giving up.
Right.
And that's been the big thing. And when I hear people say, what happened? Did you give up on music? That was never the case. Never wanted to. Went through some difficult times where, and I'll be honest, there were times where I didn't enjoy music the way that I did at the beginning, because it was very organic for me in the beginning. I wasn't really thinking anything beyond wanting to make some great songs, and I've come around full circle to that. You know, for a minute there in Nashville, I think that, you know, I got kind of caught in the trappings of, you know, the bright lights of Broadway down there, and the promises people were making, and, you know, some of the brushes, you know, with the larger crowds, and
Right,
with
right.
some of the fanfare, and you know, you start thinking differently about what you're doing, and you lose really sight of who you are as an artist, first of all, because at that point I was, you know, like, I was really trying to write for Nashville at that point. And when I started, I was really writing for me. And I think that I'm coming back to that, where I just want to write for me. Now, I won't say that Nashville hasn't influenced my writing and my style, and even the way that I speak. My parents, you know, make fun of me because I think I have a Southern accent now, which I think is kind of funny. But
You have a little bit of an accent now. You didn't have that before.
I've heard,
There for a little bit. So
yeah, I've heard that. I mean,
I love
you
it.
know, it goes beyond just saying y'all. I mean, I
Yeah.
hear it. I hear it at times, and I don't mind it at all. I kind of like it. I've really settled into, you know, living here in Tennessee, and the people and the vibe is really pretty cool.
How close are you to Nashville itself? Are you living right in the
I
city?
am
Or
I am now about I would say about 30 miles southwest
not
of the
too bad.
city. Yeah, I'm in a little town called Bon Aqua,
Okay.
and there wasn't much here when I got here and moved here a couple years back, and now it just seems to be booming. I mean, the traffic, you know, in rush hour now is blowing my mind, and you can
Yeah.
see, you know, all these developments are popping up. And this area, the only claim to fame that this area had was that Johnny Cash had a farm called the Hideaway Farm, and it's probably about 2.5 miles up the street from where I live, and it's kind of a little known gem. But, you know, for people coming to Nashville, I really recommend that they seek that out and go and see it, because you know, you walk through that house and it's just like, you know, Johnny left
Wow.
yesterday. It's, you know, his shoes are on the floor, and his
That's
robes hanging on the on the door. It's pretty crazy.
yeah.
It's amazing.
It amazes me that it's still like that. It's amazing. It amazes me that you can walk in there and there are his shoes, or there's, nothing's moved. And what about, isn't there like, is it Studio A, Studio B? I'm trying to think. You can take a tour, one of the old RCA studios. If you go to Nashville, if you're going to do a
Yeah,
tourist type of thing, you can take a tour of the studio and everything is right where they left it when they locked the doors. And it's
yeah,
just amazing. From the microphone, actually, Elvis recorded there a couple of songs, and that microphone is still there. The podium is still there. The tape is still on the tape reel. The piano is still just the way it was when when they wrapped up that session. And
isn't
it
that
just
crazy?
amazes me. It is. It's crazy. And you know what? You walk in there and you get the feeling. You get this like eerie, like, yeah, and you can hear a pin drop, if you know what I mean. It's like,
Right.
you don't want to talk too loud. It's crazy. It's crazy. But not as crazy as you, because you drove a road across the country on your motorcycle, if I'm not mistaken, and you had a
Uh,
guitar, slung over your shoulder.
yeah, that was interesting, because it was kind of, you know, just this, after I'd recorded the first album, and it did really really well, and I got a lot of exposure from it that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
I still didn't have a home at that point. I was just kind of roaming around and playing, and I had the opportunity, or the idea, I should say, just this romantic, crazy notion. I wanted to cross the country on a motorcycle with a guitar slung on my back, and write all these songs about the people and places, that I encountered along the way. And I had my manager at the time, Gina Majore, struck a deal with Bruce Rossmeyer Harley Davidson down in Daytona, Florida,
Hmm.
and got me on an iron, which is not a cross country bike by any means. And I really didn't think of the logistics of it at all, the wind drag on the guitar, or any of that. I actually went through a case where, you know, the guitar case was strapped over my shoulder, and I was doing 80 on the highway, and it literally ripped off of one shoulder,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it flopped down, and it was like whacking against my leg. And I was in the left lane. I couldn't get over to the right, and my heart just dropped into my stomach. And I thought, oh, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it.
Oh my.
So I did get it pulled over the side of the road, and I got, actually, the case that's sitting right over there now, which is more substantial. It has like a buckle
Yeah.
snap thing across the front. It's a little more durable. But just the idea that I did it on that bike ended up going, it was like 14,773 miles.
Holy,
Went all across the country, wrote 25 songs on that trip. I left St. Augustine, and I had recorded a little bit with Lou Rubino at Fish Tank Recording um, before I left. But I
mhm.
really left the journey in St. Augustine, and I returned 6 months later and dropped my kickstand down in that same spot and walked in and recorded the 13 songs that made up National Anthem, which is my
Wow.
second album. And the really cool thing about that is Carly Joe Jackson was in town um, doing a show, and I said, Carly, would you do some backup vocals on some of these songs? And she agreed, and I just had her voice in my head. And that night before she was to come into the studio and record, I literally was sitting by the pool, and I wrote this song with her voice in mind, and it was a duet, "Still the Evening Sky." And I said, Carly, do you want to record this a full song, not just do background? So I played it for her, and she said, I'm in. It was the first song we recorded that day. Carly did the vocal and literally in one take. It was incredible.
Wow.
And that song became my first top 40 single and really got me to Nashville and brought me where I am today, which is a really good place. So that motorcycle trip
It's
and
what
the songs that were written and the people that I met, all the way across the country. I met the greatest people, and a lot of those people I know are listening right now. And I
Mhm.
can't appreciate enough still to this day the people that took me into their homes
Wow.
all the way across the country and gave me a place to sleep and fed me and showed me around their town.
That's
And I
awesome.
learned a lot about people, the goodness of people, and about the country. And I'll never forget that trip. I'd love to duplicate it again. I did get on the motorcycle again when I released Netflix
Mhm.
and did a radio tour. We did 28 Music Row radio stations on the motorcycle in 30 days. A lot of times riding overnight to make it. So, and
That's
that was the last time I did that, but I loved it.
That's crazy. And you said you wrote all those songs while you were on your bike going across the country. That's got to be the best writing material when you're seeing all these different sites and different types of people, and it just must give you that information, that knowledge. It must give you that will to write and to write about these people, which we all know that's what country music is all about. It's all about our lives, and it's all about what we're doing day in, day out. Just doing that, just really that, that's what did it for you.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. The one thing that when I came out, my first album was very rock driven, and I still consider myself more of an American rock with a little bit of country and southern rock mixed
Yeah.
in. But the thing that I do love and I really associate about country music, that no matter what your style is, I think it's a very honest style of music. I think it cuts right
Right.
to the heart of matters. I think it tells stories, and I think it reaches people on a very universal emotional level.
Mhm.
So in that sense, I hope I always get associated with country music.
Yeah. So are you still riding? You still get on the bike and
I actually rode this weekend. We had that crazy weather. I think you guys had it up there too, where it was like 80 degrees.
yeah, we had like 6 or 7 days of mid 70s, and we should have a foot of snow on the ground,
Right?
November, and it's like we're outside raking the leaves, cutting the grass,
Yeah.
my shorts, getting things done. It was just, amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
I had my bike in the garage and I had it on the trickle charger and covered, and I thought I was done for the season.
Yeah, yeah,
And this weather, it was so beautiful that I got back on the bike
excellent.
and rode all weekend long. And I do write a lot when I'm on the bike, which is a weird thing, but yeah, I rode it almost every single day this summer after work. I was working crazy hours. Usually about 60 hours a week, and I always
Uh,
would take an hour after work to get on the bike. And there's some beautiful country roads that I've discovered back around my house, and I have these loops that I do. They're about an hour and a half each, and just clear my mind and kind of
that's the best way to do it. You just chill,
yeah,
just let it go, let everything out. Just go. If you've had a bad day, just get on the bike and go. That's so awesome. So
that's it.
What about Billy Lords, who we're chatting with tonight here on Skip Happens, along with the official country music fan club? And by the way, they are in Nashville. If you missed it in the beginning, they are working the CMA show, which is pretty cool. And that's why Deb is not with us tonight, because they are actually at the CMAs. And if you do watch it, there's a lot of pre-recorded stuff going on with the CMAs. You'll see the back of their heads. Not that you're going to see, you just they probably all look the same, but yeah, they're there, which is pretty cool. So what about this pandemic, and how have you handled everything that's going on? I know here in the Northeast, we're going backwards. The cases are going up. The governor of New York is, laying down these mandates. The number of people, the capacity limits have been cut way down. Restaurants now have to close at 10 p.m. The gym's got to close at 10 p.m. Just all this stuff. And that just went down today. So it's going in the wrong direction. But how have you handled being an artist and not having the gigs, not having the shows that you normally would have? How have you handled all that, Billy? Has it been a blessing to you, maybe, that you don't, being able to concentrate on yourself? Or
it has been a blessing. I was not playing a lot out to begin with for the last couple of years.
Okay.
For a number of reasons. So for me, it almost leveled the playing field with everyone else, because I already wasn't doing too much live stuff. But the funny thing was, right when it hit, I was starting to book again. I started to, okay, I'm gonna get out there, start doing shows again, start introducing new music to people. So it hit right then, and it was also at a time when I was about to record, and there was a lot of other things in the works that kept, because of the pandemic, got postponed got postponed.
Right.
But the one thing that, through this entire process in Nashville and through the last 5 years, that I've had to learn is the hardest thing is patience. And I've never had it, and I've learned it. And I've also learned that you're right where you're supposed to be at this very moment. And I feel comfortable that the groundwork has been set for whatever's coming next for me, and that it's given me time to really, refine my plans, really build a foundation in my personal and financial life, so that I could get myself positioned to do what I like to do, and to write those songs that I love most, and figure out what's going to go on the album, what's not. I tend to be a very prolific writer, and songs come to me easily.
Yeah.
And I'm usually pretty good at deciding, okay, this one, is good, this one is not. Even though people disagree from time to time, they think a song is good that I don't. But it's enabled me to really, I think, get my best material up front.
Yeah. If somebody disagrees, that's all right, because it just make it better. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, no, if it just doesn't, if somebody doesn't like it, then ask them why they don't like it. What can we do different? Then you come to a happy medium, and bam, you got yourself a kick-ass song. That's all. Yeah, exactly. And who do you have there with you?
I am sitting next to just the best player ever, Renee Trouet. And Renee and I have been playing together for I would say only about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Renee, why don't you tell the people who you are?
I know, Renee. Hello. Good to meet you. Tell us a little about you and how you got involved playing with Billy.
Oh, well, I'm originally from West Virginia.
Okay.
I've been in Nashville since '95.
I hear the accent.
And you were talking about how's the pandemic affected the playing and gigging and so forth. Usually I've been playing, touring on the road and then playing downtown quite a bit. But this whole pandemic thing, I must say, has been, in ways, it's been quite a blessing, because on one end, yes, things have shut down, but then again, if things hadn't shut down, I wouldn't be able to be here with great artists like Billy, being able to play for him. So it's been just, like I said, quite a blessing. So
the nice thing too, and Renee's such a seasoned player, and
I can tell. Yes.
Pardon?
No, I said I can tell.
Yeah. It's easy to tell. Everybody who hears her is just like, she's amazing. I said, I know, very feel very lucky. But one of the things through the course of time was that I came here with a band. I ended up by myself, which was hard enough. To just lose certain musicians, friends, and stuff along the way has been very difficult. And then you find yourself by yourself, and you're writing these songs, and as a songwriter, you hear all of these melodic hooks, lead guitar parts, just arrangements in your head. And when you play for someone with just the acoustic guitar, that's really cool. It's a really stripped down version of the song. And people love that, especially when they've heard the full studio arrangement.
Right.
They love to hear the stripped down version. But if they haven't heard the studio arrangement and they only hear the acoustic version, it can sometimes feel very flat, especially to me when I'm hearing everything else in my head. So comes Renee, and she's really bringing all of the melodic components and bringing these beautiful pads and depth that I otherwise couldn't have. So it's almost better in a lot of ways to me than a full band. What she brings is just so beautiful, and like I said, she's so talented. I'm not trying to embarrass you, but some of the arrangements that she's sent me have just blown my mind, and I can't wait to get in the studio with Renee and really bring those to my sound, because I've never had a fiddle in my sound. It's always been electric guitar driven. It still will be. I still love those rock guitars and those heavier guitar tones. But I love what Renee does so much, and I think it has a place and a home in what I'm doing.
I'm going to ask a really, maybe it's a dumb question, Renee. You call that a fiddle, but what is the difference between a fiddle and a violin?
Oh, that's fine. I get that question a lot. Actually, it's the stylistic approach. Physically, it's the same instrument. A violinist, they have their instruments set up a little bit differently compared to a fiddler, as far as the fine tuners and things like that. But it's pretty much the same. It's just the approach.
And how long have you been playing?
Well, as I say, never long enough. I'm learning every day, but I've been at it for roughly 30 some years now.
Oh my gosh. You're not that old. You've been on tour though. You said, have you been out with some of the big artists, or do you just kind of go if somebody needs a fiddle player, a fiddle player for hire type of thing? Or
well, it's pretty much, I would say yes to both of those questions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And a lot of studio work too.
Yes. I do a lot of session work, and that's something else since the pandemic has happened. I've always wanted to set up a studio out of my home. Mm-hmm. And March is when everything kind of happened. I was heading back in a van full of other musicians, and we were all getting these text messages and notifications that, road tours were canceled for the rest of the year. And
oh man,
we get back in town, no gigs whatsoever. It's all done. And so I'm here at my house, and going, man, for so long I wanted to set up my own studio. So I guess you could call it turning lemons into lemonade. I went ahead and
you're
got
right.
here, and within like 3 days I had my own studio set up. And so then since then I've just been doing a lot of session work out at home.
Nice. Do you do either one of you? Do you like get on Zoom and get with other musicians and kind of collaborate that way, or not?
I have done a few Zoom meetings. Nothing's ever finer than being together in an actual room, though. So I mean, it's good for the temporary fix, but ultimately being able to collaborate in a room, you get the full spectrum. So
yeah, Renee, when you say playing downtown, you've been on that little stage in Tootsie's, or maybe the stage, or some of
all throughout the years. I've been, like I said, I've been in town since '95, and
oh my gosh,
like Billy, I was on my own record deal as well with a group for a long time, and we would be on and off the road, and I always say the ups and downs of the music business. I've always found my home down there, playing several gigs a week. I play a lot at Roberts.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I play a lot at Roberts Western World.
And I
traditional country music. But yeah, if you go to Tootsie's, you'll see some old photographs of me from like back in 90. Oh my goodness, 90, 96, 97. Yeah, there's some photos there.
But she looks exactly the same.
Oh,
Nashville.
yeah, I had long hair back then.
Next time I'm in Nashville, I'm going to have to hit you up to show me. That's all. I'd love to see those pics.
Oh, it has definitely changed quite a bit over the years. And,
Yeah,
and I saw that happening. It used to be, well, at least before the pandemic, it was like you go down there and just like make a little extra supplemental money, to pay for some groceries or some gasoline or whatever. And your main gig was at Opryland theme park when it was open.
Yeah.
Well, so of course the park's closed, but just slowly, but quickly in the past several years, it grew into this huge tourist attraction. That's just like the place to be. It's just not right now. It's kind of at a low right now.
Well, everything is. There's nothing doing anything. It's whether you're there, whether you're here, everything is pretty much like this is it. This is our life.
But once again, it's yes, it's a holding pattern, but then again, it's been it's a blessing too, because it's just like Billy said, you've had more time to sit down and fine tune things, your plans, fine tune yourself mentally and even physically and musically. So
Now, how did you get hooked up with Billy?
A mutual friend of ours, she had emailed me on Facebook Messenger and said, "Hey, I have a friend who's looking for a fiddle player," and I was like, "Well, okay, cool." So so I wrote to him, and we got together, and his music just really appealed to me. It's just like has so much depth, has a lot of depth lyrically and musically, and just something. It's very quenching to the musical soul, if that makes any sense. So from there, it just went on, and
Yeah,
there I
am. The first time that we played together, I couldn't believe, how intuitive Renee's playing was, and it was so beautiful. And now it's like I don't even like playing without her. But I don't enjoy it as much because I love. In fact, sometimes I'll be playing a song and I'll listen to what Renee's doing, and I'll get so caught up in what she's doing that I'll forget the words to my song because it's just so beautiful what she's playing, and I'm just listening. It's gorgeous. So,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said we should probably play something for you.
I would say now that we're talking about music, let's hear what you've got, and what are you going to do for us?
I think we're going to start with the song that I just wrote recently called "Endlessly," and we did post a little bit of this on Facebook, so it might not be super new for everybody, but we're going to play it anyway. We're going to play a couple songs for you today, but that'll be the first one called "Endlessly."
All right, let's hear it.
Midnight sitting up on this rooftop, counting stars, heartbeats, and passing cars. When you ask me how long we should stay, endlessly, loving all them little things, top of the world in a front row seat, little heaven on earth, feeling free. 'Cause you're loving me from me, God knows it's meant to be. We'll be living on love endlessly, stealing kisses like we stole that evening sky, hugging turns and flying on a love high. When you ask me where they start from me, endlessly, every mile sitting close to me, little heaven on a fantasy, loving every curve, lost and free, right here where we want to be. God knows it's you and me, every twist and every turn, endlessly. My home here, everywhere I to the moon and back to a private shore, endlessly. endlessly, till the Mississippi River runs dry, till the Rocky Mountains don't touch the sky. You and me, endlessly, 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 endlessly.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Billy.
Thank you.
Man, damn, that's good. Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
I love it. You know what, you're playing the music, but is your music online? Can people, listeners, viewers, be able to go to a website and download some stuff, or is it
Well, right now,
better?
you know, what's out there is you know, a few years old now. I mean, you can go on iTunes and there's some stuff on there. Spotify.
Right.
If you look up Billy Lord, there's stuff on there. I still have my own Pandora station, but it's a lot of it's older stuff. So I'm really, really excited to get in and record some songs like this for a new album. I kind of have a very strong idea of sonically, you know, what I'm going for and how the instrumentation is going to sound, just the general overall vibe of the recording. And it's you know, there's some similarities to what I did, but it is also it's going to sound very different. And I would say I look a little different than I did then too. So you know, I'm really hoping to come out with just a whole new package in 2021, new website, new everything. So I hope people will, you know, so many people have been patient. That's one thing I'd love to say is that, you know,
Well,
the street team on Facebook and, you know, the people who have been, you know, like yourself, who've been there right from the very beginnings of this, you know, I really want to give them something beautiful. And we talked about kind of the motivations behind what you're doing and how they can kind of get lost in Nashville. But at this point in time, I just really want to make the most beautiful album, what I'm hearing in my head, and be able to, you know, deliver that to the people who have been waiting.
mhm. You know, I gotta love it. I'm looking at some of these comments, and we have people viewing from all around the world. Venezuela, and we've got Florida. I know maybe some of these people you know as well. I know there's Becky on there. It says awesome. Aubrey is saying great song, miss you. But just it's amazing that people are listening just all over the world. And it's so cool to see these comments. And maybe for the first time, they're hearing you and seeing you. And it just every little bit helps. And you need to be heard and you need to be seen. So, you know, yeah. And Ryan's like, Billy is the man.
Thank
You know,
you, sir. Appreciate you.
yeah, there you go. We got Carrie. Carrie says, hi, Billy. My neighbor. Is it Carrie or is it? Yeah, it looks like it. But anyways, that's so cool that we got these people chiming in. Yeah, Ormond Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
Is it Diane? Diane? I can't. I don't know if you know her or not. But that's so cool. That's so cool.
Well, you know, you mentioned the motorcycle trip across the country, and you know, I feel like yeah, that I just met so many people from all over, and you know, really learned how gracious and good people can be, how kind and generous they can be. So you know, those people have been supportive all the way through, and you know, I just can't wait to deliver on the promise because I know a lot of people, you know, very early on, just you know, loved the music early on, and I think they're gonna really really love what's coming next.
I know. How soon before we're going to be able to see something? It'll be well into 2021, or what do you
I
think?
don't think it'll be too far into 2021. You know, I have not given Mitch, you know, a firm date just yet, but it's coming soon.
Uh-huh.
And once we get in there, it's just not going to take long for us at least to get a good quality single out. I'm hoping to do the recording in three song sessions and do them quarterly with a new single about once every 6 months until we get a full album to you by the end of next year. That's just the way that I need to do it. That's the only way I can do it and afford to do it. do it right. With Mitch, he's a Grammy-winning producer. His studio has done just incredible musicians, from Chris Stapleton to the Raconteurs, to the Dixie Chicks and Willie Nelson. A lot of great music has come from that studio, and we'll have all Grammy-winning players on there, and obviously Renee's beautiful arrangements on there as well. So I just don't see how we can miss. Mitch is excellent in what he does, and I think he's going to capture. Particularly for me vocally, I've never felt the production has always been, what I like it to be, and I just think that I've learned, what I can do, and I really want the right producer to bring that out.
Got it. Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to hear it on the radio.
Me too. Me too.
And I work the other side of it. So, but it just, there's certain music that just like, yeah, this is good. And you fall into that category. By the way, Dion Alexander is.
That's right.
Dion. That's it. He said, pronounce Dion. I apologize for the miss. I have no idea. I've never seen it spelled like the way you spell it, but so it's pronounced Dion. So that's cool. That's cool. Got it. Now, what do you say we hear another song? Can we do that?
Yeah, that would be great. We would love that. Do you promise?
Sure.
All right, we're gonna do a song that I wrote a few months back, and this song is a little bit deeper, a little bit heavier. Endlessly is more in line with some of the other things I've done. This one is a little bit heavier, and when I introduce it, I always talk about when I write, I like to try to take people into a scene. I like to bring them in and draw them into a story, and we've all been in relationships where they've gotten difficult, and sometimes people say things in the heat of the moment that they don't mean, and it can be hurtful. And my purpose with writing this song called Promise is that maybe somebody will hear it and it will inspire them in that moment to collect themselves and not say those things. So it's called Promise. Okay. I see you crying in the dashboard light. I slam the door just to end this fight. You turn the radio on to drown the fear inside your mind. You think I'm leaving like the ones before. When you open up that door, keeping my promise, standing right, counting backwards from 10 so I can say this. Make me believe it, I'm never leaving, even when it seems that it gotta make it through the bad times. Stay together in these bad times. But you before me, even though you want me. Keep in mind from me. Keep in mind love isn't love until it conquers all. You can't feel the highs until we feel the fall. Girl, turn the radio on. Come till you're home and days on. Keeping my promise, standing right. Backwards and tears, so I can say it. Baby, believe it, I'm never leaving, even when it seems the end is near. Gotta make it through the bad times with you. Stay together in these bad times. But you before me, even though you want me, you don't exist for life. Keep it right from me. Keep in mind Lord knows some days it don't come easy. Those days the devil does his best. I fight backwards and always hurt. I know we've been. And I'm keeping my promise. Keeping my promise. Standing ready. Got my words and so I can say this. Baby, believe it. I'm never leaving. Even when it seems the end is near. Gotta make it through the bad times again. Stay together in these bad times again. But you can go with me. Even though you know me, keeping my promise, keeping my promise. Although you look for me, but you look for me.
Wow. Billy Lord. Wow. And Renee and the fiddle. I
Thank
love
you.
it. What's
I
that?
don't know how that mixes because obviously I'm singing without a mic and.
You know what? I mean, to me, it sounded fine.
All right, good.
You know, everybody's got to take into consideration this is over the web and you're there and we're here. And as far as I'm concerned, it sounds pretty damn awesome.
This is basically, our rehearsal. We sit on the couch, and this is how we do. So you all are getting kind of that, behind the scenes look inside of what rehearsal's like for us.
Well, that's the way it is. I mean, real people doing what you love, and I'm doing what I love. And this gentleman has a question: what belt buckle are you wearing, Billy? That came from Ryan Hadley.
You know what's really funny is I don't have a belt buckle on, and this is so strange because I always have a belt buckle on. And the one that I've been wearing the most recently, and because I had to change venues, we're not in my house
Right.
because I don't have internet. I have it, but it's country internet. So it's like AOL in 1995.
Yeah, I know. You still
It's
have
terrible. So I had to switch venues here, and I don't have a belt buckle on. However, I think he's probably joking because I used to wear my favorite belt buckle was a Kawasaki belt buckle that I had. It was a vintage like 1970s Kawasaki belt buckle, and I ride a Harley, so people always gave me a hard time about it. But I love the belt buckle.
Right
Now, my most recent belt buckle, the one I'd probably be wearing today, actually has it has this eagle on it with mountains behind it, and the eagle has kind of become my spirit animal. It was on the cover of my last album. It was on all of my touring stuff and T-shirts, and it's still for me, very much about the eagle. So that was my belt buckle of choice here recently.
Ryan says, "Yep, LOL."
He knows. He's like, "Do you have that Harley buckle on yet?"
He goes, I want to let you know, Ryan says he wore that to the Harley rendezvous.
Yes. Yeah, I got a lot of grief for that. I did.
Yeah, I bet you did. I don't know if I've been wanting to wear a Kawasaki belt buckle to a Harley Davidson event. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Well, in Kawasaki's defense, their 1980, I think it was the Z1000 was the fastest production bike, and it was also used in Mad Max movie with Mel Gibson. So that makes Kawasaki pretty cool.
That's cool. And you shared a beer after, he says.
So. Yes, for sure. I think maybe more than one.
Yeah, and it's a shout out from Alexandria Faulkner. It says, I work with Billy Lord. He is so talented. Can't wait to listen to all of his music and see him on tour one day. So
thank you, Allie. I appreciate that. It's been a pleasure to work with her too.
Is it too much to ask for one more before we say goodbye?
Sure. You can do that.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we're gonna, we talked a lot about writing for Nashville. This is a song that I wrote that was definitely not for Nashville. It's definitely a little darker. It's a little more sinister sounding. To me, I'm hearing all these incredible electric guitar sounds. It's going to be heavier, more like my first album.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it initially for Renee, and I was like, "You're probably not gonna like this song, but I'm gonna play it for you anyway."
We were just finishing up a rehearsal one evening, and he has this like huge book of all these tunes. He's like, "I want to play this for you," and I was like, "Okay, he's like, I want to play this," and we were just finishing up, and he played it, and I just started hearing all of these beautiful melodies in my head, and I was like, "We have to record this right away." We were recording some tunes that night.
Yeah.
We were putting down several of his songs he already had, and he said, "Oh, I want to let you hear this one," and he did, and I was like, "We need to put this down right now." So I had him do that right away, and I took it home and then laid out all the tracks of everything I was hearing on that piece of music, and so now we're like, it's now become a living, breathing part of our set.
I love that.
And I'm really excited to hear what it'll be like in the studio.
Absolutely love that story. And by the way, quickly, Jennifer Blair Grayson says hello.
Jennifer. I work with Jennifer too. One of my most favorite people.
Yep, that's cool. Anyways, they're chiming in. We're being viewed from all around the world, which is cool. And it's Billy Lord, and we're going to hear something else. Go ahead.
I do appreciate everybody who's tuning in, and just like I said, all the love and support has been amazing. It's been a lot of, like I said, just been a difficult journey, and I appreciate everybody who's taken it with me. I mean that very sincerely. This song is about again, relationships after a bad relationship or a bad breakup. A lot of times people, they like to take stabs at one another on Facebook and social media, and it's a means of trying to control somebody or a relationship that is no longer exists. And so I call the song "Remote Control." It's not like the one for your TV. It's just remote as far as trying to control someone from afar. So, okay. You don't know if you love or hate me, or hate to love you. You've been playing the victim lately. Those posts you're saying about me, my friends won't leave. You won't leave me. Makes you crazy to see me free. So it's he said, she said, all over town. Life made up just to bring me. When you means to keep a hold. Remote control. Remote control. Deliriously happy in every picture. Endless quotes about being strong, deserving better. Radio silence from you. I'm on TV. All our friends can see. You have a need to be seen. Be proud. Drama queen. Right, broken heart all over town. Taking a look at where thinking damn sure I know. Remote control. Remote control. Please. Obsession, just like crazy. more to see the end of the show. Drop your weapon back away slow. Remote control. Remote control. More control. We lost control.
I wanted that to play out all the way. That's cool. That's cool. And the name of the song?
Remote control.
I'm holding up a remote control. All right. So, anyways, I know I'm like down a little real small in the corner, so maybe you didn't see it, but that's all right. It's Billy Lord, everybody, along with Renee. And wow, just it's been a great night. It's been great to catch up with you, my friend. You do look a whole lot different. I mean, I remember you with the hair, you had the long hair, you were riding the bike, and I remember when you came in that day and we did the interview on air. It was so cool. So cool.
I remember it very well too. And I appreciate it then, and I really appreciate it now. And I can't wait to get back up and see you again, Skip.
Yeah, well, we'll make that happen. May not be like tomorrow, but we will make that happen. And you're always welcome. And you make the trip, you just let me know that you're around, and we'll get you taken care of. So,
well, likewise, when you're in Nashville, you let us know, and we'd love to show you around. You always have a place to stay, and
I appreciate
it. We got plenty of room. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think my Nashville trips normally we're there 2-3 times a year. I know Deb is there a lot on business, and she owns a business in Nashville as well. And right now, as I mentioned earlier, she's at the CMA Awards taking care of business, and we have that connection. So that's kind of cool. And to get to know people like you, I know Deb has never met you, but I know who you are and what you're capable of. And now you've got Renee there by your side, and I'll tell you what an addition. I just love the sound of a fiddle, a good fiddle player, and it just really adds. It doesn't matter if you have the electric guitars. Yeah, you can still have those. You can still have a steel. You can still have the fiddle, and you bring it all together, and you've got yourself some great music, man.
Yes, sir.
If it's done right, it's awesome, and that is definitely done right. So that's cool.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So anyways, we do want to thank you for joining us here tonight. And, wait a minute. Do I have my list of questions? Hang on. Stand by. Maybe I don't. You might get away. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on.
I almost got away.
Carry on the conversation. Okay, I'm back. So I have a list of questions, and we find out a little bit more about the artist. And Renee, you're welcome to chime in as well. It's always good to have a different perspective, which is well, you got female. I get it. I have a list of 25 questions, and Billy, pick a number between 1 and 25.
13.
13.
It is. I always go.
Why'd you pick 13 for?
Because I want a dangerous question.
Elevators don't even have 13.
It is a dangerous question. Do you know? 13 is. Do you know your love language?
What?
Exactly.
Do I know my love language?
Yes.
Yes. I think it's touch and words of affirmation. I would say.
Okay.
Two.
All right. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Renee's going, huh?
See, that wasn't so bad.
All right. Do another one between 1 and 25.
I'm gonna go with 18.
What? Oh, you're gonna like this one. And knowing you, I'm sure there's something. What's the scariest thing you've done for fun?
Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Well. Yeah, come on now.
All right, you want another one?
I mean, you know that I've been up to some stuff in my lifetime. Boy, that's a tough one.
No, you're right. I do know, and it's okay if you don't want to answer.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, I think honestly, it's probably riding a motorcycle because it's fun, but it's also every time you get on it. In fact, I just rode the other day, and I witnessed an accident, a motorcycle rider that was down, and that's hard to see. So. It's always that you have that adrenaline, but there's that fear too. It's pretty scary.
Right.
Also fun.
I did at the motorcyclist is one thing. It's the driver of the automobile or the truck that you got to watch out for because sometimes it just.
That's the truth. Everybody look for motorcycles.
Yep. All right, Renee, pick a number.
Uh, 4.
Oh, this is easy. And I already knew the answer. You lucked out, girl. What's your most prized possession?
My most prized possession.
It's probably not what I was going to say, but go ahead.
My most prized possession. Yeah, I would say probably this.
Ding, 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 ding.
She
Exactly.
also has a pretty badass ride.
Yes, I am an owner of a 2013 Mustang GT 5.0.
What? Girl.
Yes, it's dangerously fun.
All right, here's the deal. When I fly in, I'm going to get your number. When I fly to Nashville next time, you're going to pick me up at the airport. That's all. We're going to.
You got it.
All right, Billy, pick a number.
7, lucky 7.
One thing you avoid at catering.
One thing I avoid what?
The catering.
At catering.
Catering?
Yeah, like
I eat everything, Skip. For real, I eat everything. I am the world's best eater, and that happened in New York City. Just there's so much interesting food there. There's really nothing that I avoid. I will say that I don't love like anchovies.
all right. Well, there you go. I don't blame you. I hate them.
Yeah.
Gross, disgusting.
So,
Renee, we'll do one more with you.
Okay. Let's see. 12.
What is the most adventurous thing you've done that your parents don't know about?
Well, if I were to tell you, my parents would find out because they're probably listening.
you know what, Skip? My parents know everything. Like I did stuff in high school, and I thought I was so stealth. I thought they didn't have any idea. And literally, I mean, I'm almost 50 years old here, and I'll go to visit my parents. My mom will just sneak it out. She'll just be over cooking, and she'll be like, "Hey, so tell me about that time you did X, Y, and Z." And I was like, "What?"
I would ask for a specification of what chapter of my life that we're talking about.
No, I hear you. I hear you. We can move on. We'll do one more with Billy. Go ahead. We'll let that go. All right, Billy, pick a number.
9.
Oh, what sounds fun to you right now?
What sounds fun to me right now?
Yeah.
Recording, sleep sounds fun.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah.
Sleep would be nice. I'm working a lot. I was working a lot of overnights last week, so sleep sounds really fun to me right now. But
what's your side hustle? What are you doing?
Manager. I was managing a Dollar General to pay the bills, and that's interesting because I was in newspaper and magazine publishing for 15 years before I lost my job in New York and started doing this music thing. And then I was just doing music for about 4.5 years and nothing else. And when I got here to Nashville and everything kind of went south, I started working retail, not thinking I was going to really do much with it. And I ended up taking on a store, managing a store. And it's really made my life pretty stable here. And I'm going to be using my quarterly bonuses to record some music.
That's awesome. And before I do say goodbye, I know I'm no more questions, but you remind me of Jimmy Wayne. Remember? Do you know Jimmy Wayne?
I do not.
Musician. What's that?
I don't.
You don't? And you look him up, but he's got a very similar story. Jimmy Wayne was homeless. Music kind of brought him back to life. He went on, he had a couple of big hits, I want to say probably back in the 90s. Look him up. Definitely good stuff. Your story, everything you've done, you tried to get away from it all, riding across the country and doing all that. I mean, you were homeless for a little bit, so to speak. You struggled. You did a lot of good things, did a lot of bad things. Jimmy Wayne was in the same situation. And that story, and, he went on to be just he's deep in his faith. He put out some great music, and it was a while ago, but the story is almost the same. Very similar. Let me put it that way.
I'm going to look that up because
please do read about it. Read about him. Jimmy Wayne, definitely just a great guy. He hasn't been on our podcast yet, but I did do a radio interview with him, and just his story is just very similar to what your story is, and how music kind of you're doing what you love and you're passionate and you're very dedicated to what you believe in. And
well, I'll tell you that this is my favorite part of my story so far, Skip, is, having been through it and done a lot of things that I was not real proud of, and made a lot of bad decisions, and
well, we all
let a lot of people down that I didn't want to let down, and that's a hard thing to deal with. And coming around the other side of that now, it's just I'm in a good place. I'm in a really good place musically, and in every part of my life. I just feel the best I've felt. So ready to go.
That's just, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's Billy Lord, everybody, and Renee, who is for the last 6-7 weeks has been playing fiddle for Billy, and it sounds like that's going to be a pretty good matchup right there now. And we look forward to hearing your music in 2021 and hearing the project when it's done. I'd love to get it on the radio when it's time. And here in the Northeast, I know you do have a name. A lot of people love you up here. They can remember from years ago when you were doing a lot of shows in the area. And we'd love to have you come back. So the door is always open, Billy. Always.
I can't wait.
Love to see you, my friend. I want you to stay safe, wear your mask if you have to, and all that. And just stay out of trouble, my friend. Keep putting out the music. And Renee, it's a pleasure meeting you, and very talented. And obviously you've been there a long time. So yeah, that's good. And that's a good thing. A long time is a good thing. So
thank you for having us, Skip. We appreciate you.
All right. It's Billy Lord and Renee, everybody. Thanks for having us on tonight. It's Skip Happens on behalf of course, myself, Skip Clark, the host of Skip Happens, Deb Lamphere, the president and founder of the official country music fan club, who, by the way, is in Nashville. Make sure you look them up on their Facebook, the official CMFC. And make sure you look Billy Lord up online. He's got a lot of his older music up there, and the new stuff will be coming real soon. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night.